Shalom Aleichem, are we? Here we are. We are starting with the Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem is on page number 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Yedid Nefesh on page number 10. Yedid Nefesh Avarach Haman Mishach Avdach El Ritzonach Yarotz Avdach Kemo Ayal Yishtachaveh Mohadarach Ki yerav lo yedidutach minofet suf v'chol tam hadur na'eh ziv olam nafshi cholat avatach ana el narafana lach Beharot loch noam zivach os titchazek v'titrape v'hayetalach shivchat olam yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai dai yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai dai yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai dai yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai dai yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 yedidai dai 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 dai. On page 11. L'chon eranen al Adonai nari alitzur yishenu nikadmo fana b'torah bizmiro nari alo nikadmo fana b'torah bizmiro nari alo Ki El Gadol Adonai Umelech Gadol Al Kol Elohim Asher Beyado Mecharei Aretz V'Toaf Hotarim Lo Asher Beyado Mecharei Aretz V'Toaf Hotarim Lo. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted like the people at Meribah, like that time at Massah in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and they tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way. So in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. Arbrim shana kut v'dor v'amar m'tovei levavhem v'hem lo yidu drachai asher nishbati v'api im yavon el menuchati. On page 14 on the English side. Bow to Adonai in the glory of this holy place. Tremble before God's presence, all who dwell on earth. Announce among the nations, Adonai reigns. The land is firm and will not be moved. Peoples will be truthfully judged. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice. The sea and its fullness roar. The meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise, as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. That last phrase, God is coming to walk amongst us, to be with us, to reassure us that there will always be a sense of justice. Righteousness will be with us forever and ever. The first song we have on a song sheet is Never Walk Alone. This is by Ross Levy. Never Walk Alone.
Never walk the road alone. May we always be sheltered in peace. Walking hand in hand, side by side, soul by soul, may we someday all come to know. Of health and joy reach the hearts of each girl and boy, from now through forever. From now through forever. The path that God has given us, and may we always be happy and free. Every step you take it safely, and in every stride find joy and pride. May we never walk the road alone, and may we always be sheltered
And now we turn to the L'Charodi on page 23, the first three stanzas, and on page 25, the concluding three stanzas. L'Chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. L'Chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmeyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemu tiferet v'le'tila le'chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechuven echad ki mekor habracha merosh Mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshavat chila le'chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai b'nei Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch ha'hafecha rav l'shevet b'yemek habacha v'hu Yachamol Allah Yechemla L'Chadodi Le'katkala Yadadai Dadadai Dadadai Pnei Shabbat Nekabela L'Chadodi Le'katkala Yadadai Dadadai Dadadai Pnei Shabbat Nekabela 25 V'hayelim Shisa Shosayech V'rachaku Kol Mevalayech Yassi Salayech Elohayech Kimsos Chatan Al Kala Lechadodi Lechatkala Yadadai Dadadai Dadadai Pnei Shabbat Nekabela Yamin Yamin Usmol Tiferotzi V'yet Adonai Taritzi Al Yarish Ben Partzi V'nismecha v'nagila le'chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela boi v'shalom ateret balach gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala tochemunei am segula boi chala le'chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela le'chadodi le'katkala yadadai dadadai dadadai pnei Shabbat nekabela. And we are seated. And you know that when we turn to page 26 in the Siddur, as I've shared with you many times, that we're on a specific page because there's been somebody in our community that's recently come from the cemetery, and that's not the case tonight, thankfully. But it also occurs to me that it's been a little while since we've reminded ourselves that there are mourners within our community, not necessarily, hopefully, our local community, but Jewish people all over the world, especially in the beautiful nation of Israel. But we're not going to say the Hamokom, because that's associated with leaving the cemetery and coming to the shul the very first Shabbat. But we are going to turn to a song sheet. It's Nachamu, Nachamu, which comes to us from the book of Isaiah. It's on the song sheet. It's the second song sheet. And it comes to us from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40. And what strikes me when we look at the phrase Nachamu, Nachamu Ami is a little bit of a grammatical inconsistency. Nachamu should be used if we're speaking to a group like Y'all, like Alechem, but it's not. It's ami, which is, it's as if we're talking to one person. We're using a plural suffix of the verb to a single pronoun, direct object, subject. The grammar's off. So how do we understand this grammatical inconsistency? And I would say that everybody is collectively bringing his, her voice together. The entire nation, one shared voice, speaking to one person at a time. The wording here is Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Yomar Elokechem. The translation is here before us, but it's not sung this evening. The next phrase is Dabru Alev Yerushalem V'kiru Eleha. And that's what's on my mind right now. Dabru Alev literally means we all need to speak to the heart of Jerusalem. We need to speak to the heart of not only our people, but the country herself. Nachamu Ami. In ordinary times of greeting those who are mourning, we have to speak to the lay of the heart of each individual who just left the cemetery for the first time coming to the synagogue, and only then are we ready to say the Baruch Hu. Well, I'm extending that and saying that we as Jews can never forget to speak the hearts of Jerusalem and Jews everywhere. If we forget, we're not able to speak the Baruch Hu.
What is Aravah?
Aravah is the bit of the Negev desert, which is directly south of the Dead Sea, and it's a region, and the name is mentioned in the Tanakh and elsewhere. And yes, it is a desert, but surprisingly, a significant amount of the land in the Aravah is arable, and there are a number of kibbutzim and farms in the Aravah. So when Isaiah is saying this in his context, speaking to his people, his contemporaries, 2,700 years ago, he's saying, things are going to get so much better. We're going to need parking lots everywhere. Spread wide the land, get room for everybody, build roads even from the deserts and the Aravah, and people are going to be flooding in. There's going to be just such a burgeoning of our community in life and in health and in good times. All is going to be so much better than it was recently. He's speaking in his own mind. And the first step of that is by being compassionate enough to extend messages of comfort to one another.
Sounds like urban sprawl.
In the good way.
Yeah.
How does it really happen? Yeah, he's speaking of all the good things that happen. How does it really happen?
Well, I wasn't there 2,700 years ago when Isaiah was on the job, so I cannot say exactly what was happening literally in the earth and the geological and geopolitical times that he was experiencing, but I can tell you that at one stage things were really bad, and there was a war coming from Assyria to the north. Nowadays we'd say it's somewhere in the range of Turkey approximately. And he was speaking to his people and saying, we have to pull together. We have to be compassionate and supportive. Remember, Isaiah is the one who brings forth the message of Lo yisagoy el goy charev lo yimudu milchama. Nation will never lift up sword against nation. There's going to be peace. So he's championing that. He's also championing the message of reach out to the poor and the lonely and the stranger. Extend your hearts wide. Build a community. So he's trying to uplift people when they're looking down the radar scopes and saying, gosh, there's a potential for great war and hazard and destruction. And on the front end, he's saying, we've got to be united as Jewish. And then on the back end, he's saying, we need to be optimistic, we need to build ourselves up again. And if you read Isaiah, which is the longest book in the Bible, 66 chapters, you see all manner of different tones. So I pulled one sentence out of context because I want us to remember that Isaiah's voice, in many ways, is still necessary. And the voice, as we're ready for Baruch Hu, is we have to speak to each other's hearts. That's why we're here on the planet. And when we speak to each other's hearts, even when we're sore or brokenhearted, when we speak to each other's hearts, somehow there's just a little bit of softness that comes into that grief or that loss, and it lessens it. And now we're ready for the Baruch Hu. We rise, please, page 39a. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMavorach. Baruch Adonai HaMavorach Le'olam V'ed. You may be seated. The first bracha on page 39a on the English side. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the days to vision, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamidim Lo Chalein Olam Bled. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And on page 40, the English side, we're skipping the first two little lines of that poetry and beginning with you. You have taught us Torah and mitzvot, statutes and laws. Therefore, Adonai, our God, as we lie down and as we rise up, we shall speak of your laws, rejoicing in the words of your Torah and in your mitzvot forever and ever, for they are our life and the fullness of our days, and on them we shall meditate day and night. Do not ever withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kod Malchut Obed. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, ub'chol nafshecha, ub'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'v'lechtecha v'aderech, u'v'shachbecha v'kumecha, u'keshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'v'sharecha. A few moments of silence, perhaps the commentary on page 41 and the text on page number 42. Adonai Elohechem Emet. The Michamocha, please, on page 44. Michamocha Boelim Adonai Michamocha Nedar Bakodesh Norati Lot Osefele Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokea Yam Lifnei Moshe Ze'eli Anu V'yamru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed V'ne'emar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov Ugalom Yad Chazak Mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. On page 45. The Hashkivenu never gets old. It's only 2,000 years old. It never gets old. That need for us all, each one of us and all of us, as night falls, to have a sense of security and calm is as essential every single day. Hashkivenu Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch Atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haporei sukat shalom aleinu, V'al kol amo Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim. And on page 46. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti la'olam, oti la'olam, oti la'olam. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. Vayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam barit olam. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה ברכו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו amen. In a moment we'll rise, but first just a thought. I'm looking at the words, the Hebrew, Avotenu v'imotenu, our fathers and our mothers. In a minute we'll rise. What would your parents pray for right now? In the silence of your own thoughts, what would your parents pray for? In the silence of your own thoughts, in the silence of all of our own privacy, what would your parents pray for? The silent text, we rise. Few Jewish names are as well known as the name David. David. That's why it's spelled with an I, because the translators heard the Hebrew pronunciation David, so D-A-V-I-D. And David, King David, David HaMelech, is in every way unique within our tradition. God loved David. He made a few colossal sins, but God loved David. What's interesting is that when you think about the name David, you know the letters, Daled, Vav, Daled, and in Hebrew, letters matter much more than the dots and dashes vowels. The dots and dashes are fairly unimportant. The letters matter. And so if you look at the letters, Daled, Vav, Daled, we pronounce it David. But anybody with a fourth grade Hebrew education knows that David is related to the word Dodi, as in Dodi li va'ani lo. I am my beloved and my beloved is mine. Dodi is related to David because it's Daled Vav Daled. In fact, because of the way grammar works, it's not uncommon that if you're in Israel and you're speaking to somebody and you have a relationship with him, one of affection, you can speak to a man named David. He might be in his 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. He might be a general. You can call him Dudu or even Dudi, which in Hebrew is just a sign of affection. The name conveys a great deal of affection. And I'm thinking about that because right now we're in the Torah, the book of Numbers, and there's a scene that happens with David, which is nowhere near the book of Numbers, because everything we know about King David comes from the Hebrew Bible, the book of Samuel, which is in the middle of the Tanakh. His career, his interactions with King Saul, his ascendancy from being a shepherd to a musician, to a counselor, to a warrior, to a general, then eventually becoming a king. All that comes from the book of Samuel here in the Tanakh. And David at one point, he's doing great. He's expanding the territory. He's a successful general. And he gets an idea in his head. And he calls his commander over and he says, you know what? Make a census of all the people. And the commander says, you know, I think you're a wonderful king. You're a great guy, but you really want to do that? It's not a great idea. No, I want you to go make a census. And so the commander goes all over Israel. It takes 9 months and 20 days to do a census of the people. Comes back and he says, you have 800,000 soldiers in northern Israel and 500,000 soldiers ready to go in the south. You're in great shape. And David says, oh, I just sinned. I really should not have done that. And you got to ask the question, why is it a sin for a king to know how many people are ready to come together to defend the country?
Because God said you're not supposed to do it unless I ask you to.
Exactly right, because God said you're not supposed to do it unless I, God, tell you to. You're exactly right, Maddie, and you're remembering not only from here, and also the reference in 2 Chronicles, but also the reference in the Torah, in the book of Exodus. It's made very clear that only God can authorize a census for military preparedness. It doesn't say why in the Torah, but it comes up in the Torah, and it's mentioned again, referenced in Samuel and Chronicles. And I tend to think, because if you and I are going to send people out into battle to die, it's really over our pay grade. Only God should be authorized to send large numbers of people out where they're going to die in battle. And I think that's why in the Torah and in other parts of the Bible, there's this reluctance of don't prepare a census. So now we're going to flash forward and move into the Middle Ages. And we talked to our buddy Rashi, who's from France, lived about 1,000 years ago. We asked Rashi, what do you think? Why is it a problem to count people for battle? And Rashi says, anytime you count people, you are setting them up for being zapped by the evil eye. Has anybody ever heard the expression of an evil eye? In Yiddish, we say the Kanahara or the Kanenahara or the Kanainahara, depends on which part of Europe you're from. The evil eye is this superstition from 1500 or so years ago, give or take. There's an invisible eye floating around, and it looks around for people. And if anything is going too well, you're affluent, you're comfortable, you're healthy, you're safe, you've got kids, you're journeying well. If anything is going too well, this evil eye is going to zap you just to pull you down a peg. It's called the Ayin Hara, and it's in many different aspects of Ashkenazic and Sephardic superstition. And Rashi, 1,000 years ago, says, you know what? If you start counting people too much, they're going to get zapped by the evil eye, which is a far cry from our suspicion of the Torah's perspective of only God is authorized to put wide swaths of people in potential jeopardy. Potential jeopardy. And you're asking me, why am I talking about this? And the answer is because in tomorrow's account of the Torah, we see another counting of people, but not tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, just 12. It's the 12 scouts, the 12 spies who go into the promised land. And 10 scouts come back and they say, it's a beautiful land, but the people there are like giants, and they're going to gobble us up as if we are insects. And 2 people go in and say, it's a beautiful land, and if we believe in ourselves, we can go in and we can live in the land that's been promised to us since the time of Abraham and Sarah. 10 people say, it's a beautiful land, but we're too small. And then what's striking is the 10 people stop talking, and the whole nation begins to mutter and grumble and say, oh my gosh, it's a terrible place. Let's stone Moses and Aaron, and let's go back to Egypt. The 10 people say it's too hard, and then they stop talking. And these 10 people, as a body, allow a larger population to start doubting themselves, and there's an insidiousness that works its way into the fear and the anxiety of the larger community. And the 2 people who are very confident say, we can do it. Caleb and Joshua say, we can do it. Come on, let's go in. It's a beautiful land. We've been there. It's beautiful. And they've got Starbucks. Everything is wonderful. Let's just go together. But the fire has already been set because 10 people spoke in one uniform voice in such a way as to allow a community to start to grow weak. And I'm thinking about what it means to have a group of people that comes together, a community that's counted, not really the way that God is saying, don't count for wide-scale military exploits, not quite the same way as Rashi is saying, if you count too many people specifically, the Ayin Hara is going to zap you. But how do we count ourselves? How do we count each other? How do we coalesce as a community? Do we bring our voices for the sake of building up, establishing confidence, improving our world? Or do we let our voices corrode others and we tear ourselves down? The choice is up to us. May we count the right way. We rise for the Aleinu.
Joshua and Caleb.
Joshua and Caleb. Dr. Michael? Caleb. Hebrew name is Kalev.
I thought it was Joshua.
Joshua and Caleb, exactly. Joshua and Caleb. The other 10 are recorded in the Torah reading. Their names are very specific, but I don't really remember them off the top of my head. Most of us don't talk about remembering the 10 naysayers. Why do you want to remember the 10 bad guys? You want to remember the 2 good guys, Joshua and Caleb. And according to the Torah, everybody else from the current generation eventually dies out during the next 38 years of old age. Joshua and Caleb remain alive, and Joshua and Caleb go into the land of Israel with the newly growing next generation of people of Israel. So Caleb and Joshua live long lives. Page 50-60, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim, u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim v'Yosei Haaretz, U'moshav Yikaro b'Shamayim v'Mima'al, U'Shchinatu Zo, B'Gavhei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Ein Od, Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulatom, Kakatu B'Torato, V'yadata Yom, V'ashevota El Levavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim Mimal, V'al Haaretz, Mitachat Ein Od. Kakatu b'Toratecha, Adonai yimloch la'olam va'ed, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yihye Adonai echad, U'Shemo echad. We remain standing, please. Turning now to page number 58. And we remember our beloved ones. We remember Edith Goldhar, Tuba Elias, Jeanette Newmark, Hava Dasa Addis Rakwitz, Abe Fisher, Stella Sussman, Morris Gutlow, Ann Tobin, Sarah Hershkovitz, Rosa Rips, Jacob Robinson, Henriette Richards, Anna Kramer, Lazard Leon Loeb, Morris Sonnenschein, Jesse Weinstein, Lawrence Blanchard, Dr. William Levy, Joseph Golden, Herman Hershkovitz, Helen Muchnick Small. Are there any other names to mention this evening? Perhaps those at home have a name to share as well, and we continue to keep all of our people in Israel in our hearts. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba Amen. Be'olma divara kirute v'yamlich malchute b'chaye chon u'v'yom echon u'v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'v'zaman kari v'miru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mivarach la'olam u'l'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha v'richu la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata Tishbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim oleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom oleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We are seated. Oleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Remember, every time you and I are saying Kaddish, we say Aleinu v'al kol. We're praying for peace for other Jewish people. We don't even know who they are by name or by person, but we're praying for peace for them. And they don't know who we are, but there are people all over the world who are praying for peace for us. We've been doing that for 1,000, maybe 1,600, 1,700 years. We've been saying this. We're connected to people whom we don't really know, but we're connected. And we always end our service with prayers for peace. We'll conclude tonight with this song. It's the song sheet here. It's called Yihiyeh Shalom. It's a song by Rick Recht, and it's presented here in the transliteration, and he sings mostly in the Hebrew, but there's the translation here before us. The translation is found on the lower half of the page. Yeh Shalom, there will be peace.
כשאנחנו שומעים אחד את השני, כשאנחנו מבינים אחד את השני, כשאנחנו אוהבים אחד את השני, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום בעולם, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, כשאנחנו מאמינים אחד בשני, כשאנחנו עובדים אחד עם השני, כשאנחנו לומדים אחד השני, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום בעולם, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, כשאנחנו מאמינים שהשונה הוא יפה, כשאנחנו מאמינים שכולנו משפחה אחת, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום בעולם, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום בעולם, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום בעולם, יהיה שלום, יהיה שלום.
And we say, Yeh Shalom, there will be peace. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos. To all those joining in, we can't wait to see you in person, hopefully soon. Please know, we love you. May God bless you. May you have shalom and peace. And just know you're always part of our lives.